Okay, I lost track, so hopefully I got this whole thing, but these are some collaborations that Mark and I did. This stake is the perimeter for the fence around his house, and the pink line is the line that he ran to make sure the fence was straight. So this is our first collaboration. A little man walking through a strange theater. He has his head covered with a block. Second one says home on part of the text, and then it has a little text here in the corner that says breakout. This one says live and alive and ground and grounded, which of course are electrical terms and life-related terms. And then this last one, the yard. I think my main contribution to this was that I filled the box with dirt. So those four, we each started with a box, then added something, then switched, and then the other person added something. So these are the four we came up with. And they're all about 9 by 9 inches. So then continuing on, this is just a little assemblage, I guess you would call it. So there's an oar here, but it just rests on top of a book called the Book of Floating. So one of the big themes in this show is doing something you can't do, or representing something with something else. So there's no water in this show, but a lot of boats and a lot of things about learning how to use a boat. So this is the second installation we did with the other half of the canoe. You can see it has a little white flag on the end. That's actually made out of one of Grandpa's handkerchiefs. Then there's the canoe itself. And this was a box that came from Mark's house in Ohio, I believe, an old Johnson Johnson first aid kit, because we decided that every boat needs a first aid kit. And then a seat in the canoe on a piece of post oak, and you can actually go in. You can see we let some dirt up, and it says here, you may enter the boat and look through the book, but be gentle. So you can walk in here, and then I put together a little book here called Rivers. So you can see there's the title page. And then as you go through, just various pictures of water. So you can sit on the bench here and look out to the bow of your boat and look at all these images of rivers. It's kind of sad, I suppose, but it's also sort of about making up a place or pretending. And we both did a lot of that. And since we both grew up in the Midwest, we're both quite familiar with canoes. So turning around from that, I also did some writing inside of the canoe. There's some latitude and longitude points written on the edge here. Those are the points of our hometowns. And then on the opposing side is the latitude and longitude of this place where we both are currently. And 479 miles. That's the distance between the places where we grew up. So moving right along, this is a piece I did, which is obviously a floating concrete block called Levitation. And I'm sure you can figure out how I did it if you think hard enough, but it's about, say 2.5 feet off the ground. This kind of looks like it's floating there. We'll play about weight. So here's another piece of Mark's. And so then move along to some more of my work. These are called the relics. They're all just little bones. Obviously, as you know, the Catholic Church collects relics, little fragments of the bones of saints, and they're supposed to hold in some kind of the essence of the thing that originally had those bones. And so these are just little pieces of bones I found in my wanderings. And now they're all little relics. That one's a nice little skull. So the next piece here is a collage that Mark did that I added some writing to. They're pictures of the Midwest. And this one says, the writing's very small, so I'm going to read it to you. And it says, "In the place with the dark wet soil, color ignites the trees, and the forest is on fire." And that was interesting for here and there, because here we have real forest fires, and there you just have nice fall color. Not that you don't have fires, but next piece is another piece of mine. This one has a tree growing out of it. So it's a stack of books, but it's called Rip Van Winkle. And the reason why is because I started getting interested in wanting to quantify the amount of time that Rip Van Winkle was asleep. And you might be able to see it. It says Rip Van Winkle there on the cover page. Anyway, so the number of books represent the approximate number of days he was asleep, which was about 7,300. And all the titles of the books are self-help titles that say things like The End of Time, The Search for Significance, The Outermost Dream, Life is Hard, those sorts of things. And then on the perimeter of the book here, it says it happened while he slept. And then, so the tree ended up here because I kept thinking about the number of days is quantified through the pages of the books, but I wanted the tree to give you more of an idea of how long it had been. And so the tree comes out of that top book and grows all the way to the ceiling. Here's another collage we collaborated on. Mark did the collage again, and I did the text. So this one, it says Seasons on the corner, and then it says, "This is the land that gives us everything, and we take it." And then it says in the lower corner here, "We take it for ourselves," and then it says, "You took it from me." And I felt like this collage really captured kind of the farmland where we both grew up. And then here's the last one, a piece for me, again, cinder blocks on the wall. This one's called Bloom, and there's a little egg in there, a little nest, sitting under those cinder blocks, just waiting. And so I'm going to give you a last installation view, the whole thing. So that's everything you just saw. And so that's the show. And hopefully the narration helps. I'll have some pictures for you guys too.